Shri Vitala ki jai, Murangadada, Ratamohan ki jai, Shri Giriraj Maharaj ki jai. Rupa Baba ki jai. You have not read this, no? This is so beautiful. You will love it. I can give a presentation. So today we are speaking about the change of heart. This is a book published by Rupa Baba, as he is known, here in Vrindavan, founder of Sandipani Muni School and Big Prasadam Distribution Hospital, school in Kikikanagla, 1,500 ladies, girls, they have been trained up in that school. Nowadays, many of them are already in service, in professions, graduates from Sandipani Muni School. And long time ago, he published The Change of Heart because Sandipani Muni School, together with all our other efforts in Vrindavan, has always been very concerned with the different social circumstances of Vrindavan. The Change of Heart increased the fortunes of Vrindavan 1,000-fold. The Brijbasis planted trees and flowers and kept everything spotlessly clean. They met regularly to assess their progress towards living and working in harmony with nature. They became an example of Vedic culture to the world. The Brahmanas performed their sacrifices very nicely and maintained the temples with devotion and first-class cleanliness. The government established Vrindavan as a holy place. They worked out the sewage and water problems, and Vrindavan was made traffic-free. Peace was restored. So here, we have a very nice story. The story is about a yogi who comes down. And he is a yogi who can speak with the animals. So he comes from the Himalayas at the time of the winter, because in the winter it's too cold up there, so they can stay in Badrinath and in other places. So his name is, he was staying in a stone hermitage with the name Narada and his disciple Marichi. So when he came to Sudama Kutir, coming down to Vrindavan, usually the devotees, they stay in Sudama Kutir, then he was going around and he was so shocked what he was seeing, because I am now reaching my 100th years. This body I possess is too old to be useful. Rather, it is becoming a burden. It is my desire to leave my mortal body in the place I took my birth, the holy land of Vrindavan, the land of Lord Krishna. My dear boy, I have made my decision. Today we will start our journey to Vrindavan. But Vrindavan is very far, Guru Maharaj, said the boy in surprise. Your body is certainly as tough as an old tree, with the strength and vitality that belies its age. But Vrindavan is many hundreds of miles away, and the first 50 miles are very difficult mountain treks. Maharaj, please consider. So they went on their way. As they were coming down, they were chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. The boy admired the way the old man descended the steep and dangerous rocky tracks to the river. Jamuna Devi ki jai. They called out, offering their respects to the holy river. In other words, they were up there in Yamunotri, even higher. They sprinkled a few drops of water on their heads and drank deeply of the sparkling waters that gave love of God and freedom from the cycle of birth and death. Prepare the articles for worship, commanded the sage with a twinkle in his eyes. Marici gathered some flowers and arranged them on the tray. He watched while the holy man worshipped the holy river nicely. Then the sage beckoned, "Come, the pass is now open," he said. With caution they entered the swirling ice current and sat down. The boy was surprised. He could breathe within the water. The sage smiled. "Fix your mind on Vrindavan," he said. Marici prayed for the strength to fix his mind and the power to follow his teacher. The myriads of colors in the translucent steaming water swept by, aerated with trails of jewel-like bubbles. The life of the river, normally hidden under the threshing foam, rushing by, highlighted with occasional flashes of sunlight and sky. All the time, the sage chanted the sacred mantra, "Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare." How much time passed, it was impossible to say, for the experience was captivating and extraordinary as a journey into another world. All too soon, the sage arose and, taking the boy's hand, they walked out of the water. They both felt refreshed, as after a particular pleasant and invigorating bath. When they climbed the steps of the ghat, the pigeons took to the air in a crescendo of wings and feathers. Shri Vrindavan ki jai. Shri Shri Radhe Shyam ki jai. Keshi Ghat ki jai. The sage cried out, and they paid their obeisances to the jewel of holy shrines. This is the place where Lord Krishna took bath 5,000 years ago, after he killed the Keshi demon, who appeared in the form of a gigantic horse. The sage says the demon was sent by the evil King Kamsa, who planned to kill Krishna and destroy the Vedic culture. But Krishna very easily killed the demon by punching him in the mouth. His hand then expanded in the horse's throat and choked him to death. Marici feasted his eyes on the palatial buildings that lined the bank of the Yamuna River. They were beautifully carved with arches and balconies and red sandstone. Their grandeur was now bathed in the golden light and long blue shadows that proclaimed the end of the day. A Brahmana sat with a small group of pilgrims on the ghats in the last of the sunlights, chanting oblations to the sacred river. The monkeys and crows, each keeping a comfortable distance, shared the grains scattered by passing pilgrims. Some local ladies threw balls of chapati dough down to feed the turtles, while the birds high in the evening breeze circumambulated the holy place before retiring to roost. Another day was over. The sacred river Yamuna flowed like molten gold towards Keshiga, radiant as if she remembered the ecstasy of the touch of Lord Krishna as he sported in the waters with his cowherd boyfriends, slowly softening to saffron pink as she remembered his most intimate loving pastimes with the beautiful gopi damsels of Braja. The sin-questioned moon set above the horizon. A new era of my life has begun, the boy realized as the moon quickly followed the sun into golden haze and beyond his vision. As the boy slept, he dreamt of Vrindavan. The huge trees residing in the expansive pasture grounds gave shade to the tens of thousands of cows that grazed contentedly on the lush herbs and grasses. The sage awoke Marici after a few hours. It was past midnight. They hid their few belongings, and after taking baths in the holy river, they started their parikrama. The sage said, circumambulating the temple of Vishnu and Krishna frees one from many sins. In Vrindavan, there are over 5,000 temples dedicated to Krishna. Now we will circumambulate the holy Dham, and in this way we pay our proper respect and wash away uncountable sins collected over many lifetimes. As they proceeded along the sandy Parikrama path, the stars glittered as a shimmering witness to the auspicious event. The sage pointed out the many temples and places of interest. Harikatha, where the gopis used to cross Yamuna to visit Durvasa Muni. Vrindavan, where they said that the great Saint Vyasadeva wrote the 10th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. Rajghat, where Krishna disguised himself as a boatman and tricked the gopis. And Sri Chaitanya Vishram Stali, where the Jagannath deity of Marugurari Gupta resides. At Bhaktivedanta Swami Marg, they offered obeisance at the Samadhi Mandir of the great saint Srila Prabhupada, founder Acharya of the International Society for Krishna Consciousness. Then they continued to the Krishna Balaram tree, and along the sandy covered boy trails amongst the trees and old walls where peacocks shrilled cries and a distant bacha broke the stillness of the night. And then they followed the trail towards Kaliyagat. There's a place where Krishna danced on the hoods of the large demon serpent Kaliya and delivered him. The demon was so poisonous that all the fish in Yamuna lagoon died, and even the trees and vegetation in the area were dying. Then they saw the Madan Mohan temple Sanatana Goswami had constructed. 2 hours down before dawn, they arrived back at Keshigat and they set to continue their japa. They didn't notice the many people who came to bathe in the sacred water before visiting the temples. They chanted Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Meanwhile, numerous monkeys, dogs, birds, and cows came to drink and take the sun. Thus, another busy day began on the bank of the holy river Yamuna. As the sun climbed high in the sky, the landscape took on its familiar bleached outlook, and as the blazing heat reached boiling point, the boy's meditation was disturbed. What is that foul smell that mingles with the incense and the dry hot air, corrupting it like pig stool in a garden of a fragrant flower? He cried out. His meditation broken and his mind disturbed, he looked for the source of the stench. A stream ran nearby. I can't believe it, he explained. Who has dared to fool this sacred place? As he looked around under the spotlight of the sun, his aura increased. There was garbage everywhere. The goddess of the holy river sat within a lotus on the bank of her turtle carrier. In a voice like a celestial music, she said, "O holy ones, welcome to the sacred land of Vrindavan. Please know for certain that my body waters can never be contaminated. On the contrary, whatever they touch is immediately purified. Neither can Vrindavan ever be destroyed. Even when the 3 worlds are inundated at the time of universal destruction, Raja sits in transcendence above those waters like a lotus flower. However, I am very pleased by your concern for the fallen conditioned souls of this Kali Yuga. I've come to give them this awakening message. Dear human beings, hear my appeal. In this human life, you are responsible for action and neglect of appropriate action. Everyone knows it is sinful to contaminate the rivers. Rivers are sacred. The river is not a place to dump your sewage and chemical waste. It is a sacred place for worship and meditation. The radiant goddess paused. Do not support the industrial enterprise by purchasing their products. Economic development is organized in gross manifestation of lust and greed, which are 2 of the gates that lead to hell. Industrialization exploits and ruins the earth and is the death of the life-giving rivers. Also human beings are free to choose their path of action. They are always held responsible for the protection of the planet and the welfare of all living beings. They should not forget that the stringent laws of karma do not let offenders go unpunished. The modern lifestyle degrades man to the level of an animal and leads to hellish existence in this life and in the next. The Vedic culture elevates a man and develops fine qualities in him. Compassion is a quality of the lovers of Krishna. Now please listen to the suffering of the residents of my water. Please hear their appeal. A shoal of silvery fish gasping sadly appeared. They sighed, "We can't survive much longer. The sacred waters are saturated with many chemicals and wastes. We are slowly being poisoned. Our children are born sickly and mutilated. Dear sage, please help us." The timid turtles testified, "Oh holy ones, the terrible pollution is torturing us. We turtles who live in the toxic waters are amongst the first to be traumatized. But all types of living entities together with humans totally depend on pure water for a healthy life. This terrible situation is beyond toleration." The representative of the council of great pelicans proclaimed, "O great soul, we may appear presumptuous to impart our firm belief, but it appears that human beings have completely lost sight of the goal of human life. Persuaded by their own greed and lust for sense gratification, they are prepared to perform so many forbidden actions for material profit and forget their prescribed duty to protect the earth, rivers, and the living entities. Otherwise, how is it possible there is so much pollution?" The superintendent of the sophisticated storks said sadly, "Maharaj, we are shocked by this situation. Seeing the self-interest leaders of man who have forgotten their sacred duty to serve, should we stand by silently? We see they have completely forgotten. They will receive 1/6 of the sinful reaction of their subjects. Their neglect seems suicidal to us, simple storks. In this way, the flamingos also complained. Everybody presented their terrible situation. The people must act now, the goddess Yamuna said. Everyone must examine their life and make appropriate changes. Industrialization is known as ugra karma and is destructive. It leaves a trail of despair in its wake. The saint Narada cried, "No, most merciful Mother Yamuna, please do not leave us. If you leave, the Kali Yuga will take over with full force. I promise we will try to do." Some say, "You have promised, and Lord Krishna fulfills the promise of his pure devotee. Therefore I shall stay a little longer. My blessings are upon you, kindly sage. May your words are empowered to change the hearts of the people," said the shining goddess as she became one with the sacred river. "Guru Maharaj, what will we do?" asked the boy in dismay. "Let us see. Lord Krishna will certainly use us as his instruments," he said. "Come, let's walk a little." As they walked, they recalled the beauty of Goddess Yamuna and the heartbreaking cries of the fishes and birds. They hardly noticed the gangs of monkeys who wreaked havoc by chasing and fighting along the ghats. They passed a little temple dedicated to Yamuna Devi and passed along the narrow alley and under the bending tree. At the end of the path, some old cows stood. The sage was delighted to meet them and greeted them just like old friends. "Oh my dear Holy Mother, you are as dear to Krishna, Lord Govinda, as the Brahmanas who spend their entire lives worshipping him. Just by your association I am purified," he said, massaging their necks and petting them. Krishna is described as Namo Brahmanya Devaya Namo Brahmana Hitaya Cha. This prayer from the Vishnu Purana states that Lord Krishna especially protects the cows and the Brahmanas. "Guru Maharaj, the cows are eating plastic." "What are you saying, my boy? Who is eating plastic?" Then the holy cow spoke. "Dear sage, our lives are very hard. We eat anything and everything that is chewable in order to pacify our empty stomachs. The cow is speaking, cried out man, and a crowd gathered. I'm too old to give milk, and my owner was too poor to feed me. So he abandoned me. He said, I wander the streets and look for food, but Vrindavan becomes like a desert with every year that passes. There are no wild grasses or vegetation to eat, and the vegetable vendors keep the stick ready to hit us when we are tempted by the juicy vegetables. Some kindly people feed us chapatis and vegetable cuttings, but sadly it is not sufficient. We cows have many stomachs, and we are always hungry. Ogovinda, Ogovinda. In this way, the cows was telling their difficult situation. So in this way it goes. Then they're complaining that people are not keeping the buffaloes, they're not taking care of the cows. In this way, the sage just goes around and sees. Oh, the boy was thinking, in this way, in the same pathway we walked last night, how different it is now. The noise of generators cut the tranquility into harsh, tattered fragments, and the hot, dusty wind blows litter here and there. Many horns blare out prayers, and if the volume is necessary to pierce the covering of the universe and reach the Lord's ear, well, the noise is certainly piercing my ear and destroying the peaceful atmosphere. Big sound came from the Yamuna, from the motorboat. He noticed how the young trees struggled to survive the onslaught of the heat, the hungry cows, Mansi, and humans. Where have all the magnificent trees gone? Where are the pasturing grounds where Krishna loved to play? Where are the cooling streams and shady groves? In this way, they were complaining, longing, and then they were seeing the situation in the market. Howling machines roared there, and people. My dear boy, have he died and reached the hellish planets? The holy man asked, but the boy couldn't hear him. Finally, there was a break in the traffic. They safely crossed the road and continued their parikrama. But from this point on, things got worse. The parikrama pass had recently been tar-sealed. Now it had become a shortcut to Mathura. Huge trucks laden with bricks, screeching tightly packed buses, and nightmarish tempo roared along the little lane, forcing the pilgrims to the walk in fear for their lives. O respected sir, one bull said, my life has lost all dignity. The farmers no longer have work for me. They now ride proudly on noisy machines of iron that puff out black smoke. In this way, everybody was so concerned. And they just kept chanting, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. The sage cried out, Oh Krishna, Oh Balaram, where are you? I need to speak with you, both on the matter of topmost urgency. The most terrible things are happening in your Bhumi Vrindavan. Just then, out of the crowd, two small boys appeared. One was dark complexion and one was fair, and both were extremely handsome. They carried sticks and ropes on their shoulders, just like our boys, and they smiled very sweetly. The tallest boy gave the sage a cup, saying, My mother sent this milk for you. Please drink it, you will soon feel refreshed. While the other, who looked more mischievous, jumped into the sage's lap. The sage became jolly. One boy was pulling his beard playfully, the other was talking animatedly, and the holy old man was listening with rapt attention. It was as if time stood still, framed forever in a gold moment that no one wanted to end. Suddenly a boy pushed his way through the crowd. He was carrying a calf with a broken leg. There was blood everywhere. She was hit by a car, he cried. The driver was rushing to the temple, and he just left her bleeding in the road. The darker boy immediately took the calf in the arms. He caressed her and whispered into her ears, Tears rolled down his cheeks. The calf's eye rolled and then became fixed. The boy looked up and said softly, "She's mine and she belongs to me forever." The Pharaoh boy said angrily, "The man hurts the calf and he thinks Krishna wants to see his face? What an ignorant fool." Turning to the crowd, he said, "O good people, protect the cows and bulls and you will surely attain the merciful glance of Govinda." They left suddenly and could not be found anywhere. The crowd was left stunned and euphoric. Everyone was attracted by the boy's charm and beauty, but nobody knew to which family they belonged. The sage was a new man. The new boy sat on his lap. Enlightened by the association, he looked around at the people. Many of them were born in Braja, some from other places in India, and some came from distant lands, but all had the sufficient pious activities to reside in the Dham. He noticed with admiration their noble bearings and humble demeanor. So he meets the Brijvasis, and he says, "People all over the world are madly engaging in sense gratification, in this way spoiling the human form of life, with the risk that in the next life they may become animals or less. Human society should be saved from such a risky civilization and the danger of animalism by awakening to God consciousness. We need a change of heart. The atheists, bewildered by their fragmental knowledge, think the great traditions of India are outdated and a new, better way has been invented by pea-brained scientists in their laboratories. But only a fool can believe that mortal man knows better than Krishna. Yes, everything Krishna makes is miraculous, perfect and complete, and therefore completely perfect. By contrast, everything that is man-made has so many defects." Then the monkey was coming. He was trembling and crying, "Help me." And your holy man pacified him with kind words and found out that a gang of monkeys had stolen his bananas. To the surprise of the crowd, an old monkey came forward, walking upright and bowed before the holy man. The little boy hid behind the sage in fear, and the crowd murmured, "Today's very special day, nothing like this has been heard." Is too long? No, I'm cutting short. Anyway, so they're seeing all the plight, and then they're saying, we have to have a change of heart if we want to change the situation of Vrindavan. And there's many, many points of view and points of observation that animals should not be tortured, that toxic fires burning, so many things which are too much noise on the parikrama, that there is people are not compassionate with the animals, and like that. So in this way, there's for calling upon a change of heart, the sage who is coming from the Himalayas and the seas. Last time he was in Vrindavan, it was everything very beautiful and nice. Just in a few years, everything changed so much for the worse. Now, after this book was published, this is already a long time ago. It was published in 2008. Now we have to write another book because it has become so unimaginable that Vrindavan now we can hardly walk. So it is very auspicious for us, and we are going to make a similar type of book also for our preaching here, and for bringing some joy to the people to be part of the solution of Vrindavan. That is my hope. So a change of heart is necessary if we want to change our life, if we want to change our Vrindavan, if we want to change our surrounding. I think I did take a long time with this reading already, but because I've also been involved with the cleaning of Vrindavan and seeing what can be done. Now I think within the next year or 2 years, we will see another amount of big changes in Vrindavan, and that will be combined with a change of the situation, a great change of the situation, because it has to be, because by so many people coming to Vrindavan, this is the window of Sanatana Dharma. More than anything else, this is the window. And if we, especially you, and you really work the authorities and you speak them very serious, like Gardner, like this old man, the sage which comes from the Himalayas. Therefore, I also read this book for you to read completely, so you get into the mood. Because the public administrators, they sometimes see something has to be done, but they don't go deep. They make kundas without oxygenation, and then the kundas die, become all green, and there's nothing, no life or fish inside, no bird sanctuary around. So it's a really, really important thing. And as we are living in Vrindavan, we should also work for these things, because we believe in Krishna, we believe in Vrindavan, we believe in the animals, we believe in the monkeys, and we believe in the cows and peacocks. So if we don't do anything to make their life possible, if we don't consider their existence and their rights, then we have not had a change of heart yet. So this is, I'm thanking very much Padmanabha Maharaj for bringing up the subject of change of heart, even though he thought that was a chapter of the Srimad Bhagavatam. But actually, Krishna wanted us to talk about this change of heart. And this is one of the most important things to be discussed here in this Yamuna Kunja. How to bring about the change of heart in the individuals, especially in the leaders of Vrindavan. Because many, they don't even have yet a garbage place for depositing their own temples. I was just walking Keshigat. Keshigat is doing a big amount of prasadam distribution free, and the people throw the food, their plate, into the Yamuna. It is intolerable. Intolerable. And we have to immediately take action. You guys have to take action by becoming very emotionally involved. So now I rest my words here, and you have to add something from your point of view. Here we can start with Maharaj.
The subject is very beautiful, but I am profoundly shocked to see the environmental situations of Sudan. People are streaming into this town from different corners of the world. But it is a matter of deep regret that the inhabitants of Sudan Vrindavan are not taking any care for the betterment of Sudan. They are polluting Sudan Vrindavan day after day. The water of Jamuna is being polluted. Soil is being polluted. Air is being polluted. Everything is being polluted day by day. And who is responsible for this? Of course, I shall not criticize the but just here, if I have to say something positive, I shall say that the Brajavasis are also responsible in some things. They are eating and throwing their plates on the paths. It can't be tolerated. The Brajavasis are considerate persons, but why are they polluting the water, the sacred water of Jamuna? They are throwing bottles. Not only the outsiders throwing garbages into the water. The permanent residents of the Vrindavan, are also doing this. I have seen with my own eyes that the Brajavasis are throwing garbages from the roof of the house. Just at the back side of this temple, you will see the lane is being overflooded. Where from does it come? The water is coming continuously, but they are not taking it yet. Not only that, they are throwing garbages like plates and another broken things on the pot. When I complain, the same reply is coming every day. They say the scavengers will be sent from the office and tomorrow the pot will be clear. Why are you shouting? I am not shouting. I am complaining. You are a Brajavasi. You have a direct connection with Lord Krishna. The entire creation is being maintained by Krishna. And as you demand that you are an associate of Krishna, so your conduct should be changed. But you are not changing your conduct. I have been staying here from permanent. I have been staying here for 24 years. Permanent. And I am seeing with my own eyes that perhaps he will say, yes, Kinjan Maharaji, you should comment in this way because the Brajavasis are closely connected to Krishna. So if you say like this, then you have the very possibility to be punished by Lord Krishna. I am not afraid of this. I am saying that they are committing blunders. I am surprised to see that just whenever the outsiders are coming here to take bath in the Jamuna, they are afraid of taking bath because the water is polluted. But still they are taking bath because they have a firm belief on God. They believe in it. They believe in the existence of Krishna. So it is my request to the Brajavasis. Try to be considerate. You are in the habit of saying, we are closely related to Krishna, so we can do whatever we like. No, it is not tolerable. I shall not tolerate this. You may be a close friend of Krishna. You may be closely related to Krishna. That is up to you. But as you are residing in a society, you have some responsibilities. And I expect and hope from the core of my heart that the Brajavasis will be considered. They will think about the case. I shall not allow you to pollute the water of Jamuna. I shall not allow you to make the paths dirty. On the day of Parikrama, I see that policemen are sitting, they are gossiping, they are phoning, they are busy phoning. To whom are you phoning? The passers-by, with the risk of life, are crossing the path and you are gossiping. What are you doing here? And these policemen belong to Vrindavan. They are not outsiders. So I shall say that Brajavasis are not washed. Tulasi leaf. Yes, Lord Krishna, you are requested to pardon me. I am but a child. I can commit to that. And most of the time I hear our people say, don't comment. existing Brajavasis, they can do whatever they can do whatever they like. But I shall not support this kind. Because water is water to me. Milk is milk. If someone says, you should say this is milk, but I am getting a glass of water. So, as per your instruction, shall I say that it is a glass of milk? No. You have given me a glass of water. So I shall say that it is water. I shall say that this glass is containing water. But if someone gives pressure, you should say it is water, it is the order of Gurudev. No, this order can't be and should be. Carry it. Water is water. Milk is milk. So now I shall give you the last word of mine. I expect from the Brajavasis and also the persons who are coming from outside, please be considerate and try to think over things so that we can get a proper environment where there will be no pollution. Thank you very much for your time.
From experience, I like to add to this that Vrindavan actually very clean people. If you go out of the city to the countrysides, you will see that their fields are free of plastic. They are cleaned up. The main trouble of the city and Vrindavan and other places is the amount of tourists. They, of course, also bad customs have come and conscientious awareness has to be brought into for sure. But it has to be a very joint effort. So our Yamuna Kunja has a very important duty of bringing about awareness in this regard. Now we will hear the enlightening words of Padmanabha Maharaj, who is directed on this.
I was going some other direction according to Srimad Bhagavatam. I didn't understand this way the change of heart. So, yes, to bring mass awareness in the society, we need to publish the booklet already made, and we need to approach to the main leading saints, those who are staying in Vrindavan and also outside of Vrindavan, but they are hardly listening to Vrindavan, like Ram Bhadracharya, Bhageshwar, Dham, and we can speak to them, if we can present before them, and in this way we are going to develop this Braj, and it should be plastic free, it should be dirt free. Dirt means in the sense
Filth.
yes. Also so much of noise pollution. This Hindi film song we hear all over India. But in Braj, yes, many people are coming. Today I had some guests from Delhi. They came to Vrindavan, they were so happy seeing Vrindavan. But while taking them, I saw in many shops they were playing Hindi songs. This also pollutes the culture of Vrindavan. So the main thing is to solve this problem, we have to approach many saints like now who are becoming most popular, Srimanand Baba and Rajendra Baba and Mahant of Sudamakuti. There are many saints we met in Prabhupada's disappearance day also in Rupa Goswami's Samadhi, Radha Damodar. So the first thing which we can do is to complete our booklet and approach to these people. So I pray to Maharaj to come back to Vrindavan as soon as possible so that we can do our work. But it all depends on Vishnu Maharaj, but still we can pray to the Lord that they come back soon. There are lots of work to be done in Vrindavan. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
A few publications have to be made. This book, Change of Heart, should also be edited and put into Hindi. I will ask Sandipani Muni School if they still have copies. We can also distribute that, because even though it was printed, it has not been widely distributed. So this is something we can also really engage from here, from the table outside. No? You see, no effort is made, then no change will take place. And this is really situation that, and I think one of the biggest things Padmanabha Maharaj has to do, he has to convince the authorities that Vrindavan needs a very serious fine system. That those who do or offend these things will get very strong fines for the municipality, that the people will be a little afraid, because the bad customs, and then no fines, nobody can say anything. Any place in the world that wants to have discipline, they have to do something like this. Now we will hear Malva Krishna's opinion.
Gurave Gaurachandraya Radhikaya Tavadaya Krishnaya Krishna Bhaktaya Tavadaya Namo Namaha. I really like this book and the way how it's showing up. The title is The Change of Heart. It's not only that it's a Srimad Bhagavatam chapter, but how it is exposing philosophically, actually. It looks like a little boy's story, but it shows philosophically what is our real expression of prem, of love. Because people are coming to Vrindavan, and we know that they are coming for growing up spiritually. They are not coming. We are not coming for disco or for looking, dancing or something like that. We are coming to see the temples. But as in the story is telling, this person going in the car in a rush to visit the temple, but is hitting the calf of the Supreme Lord Krishna. So, and Balaram replies, he thinks that Krishna wants to see his ugly face. This is nonsense, right? So, change of heart actually means what Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur has explained to us. We have to be one in mind, in word, and in action, right? So, if we are one, means I am coming to you, my Lord, to offer my heart, and my actions should be according also to that offering. So I am offering a ghee lamp to Jamuna, and I put on Jamuna over a plastic that is polluting. So actually everything has lost the logic and the sense. Why are we putting a ghee lamp, flour, milk and other things inside Jamuna? Because when Jamuna accepted and it is going deep in the water, the whole inhabitants of Jamuna, the fishes, the turtles, the birds, everyone will take it, will eat, that will give life to Jamuna. Actually, Jamuna was so beautiful because had a lot of animals living there, and they all were Krishna's associates. But now we go to Jamuna and you cannot see any animal. Anything is there. And if you go deep, the only thing you get is garbage, is trash, is bad smelling. Right? So it is not making sense. It is better to don't offer the gila when it's coming in a plastic plate than offer it. It is you are doing it to get blessed, but at the end you are making biggest apparat. Because Krishna also said in Bhagavad Gita, the sacrifice, austerity, or charity you are giving in the mood of ignorance, that is not useful. And that what is happening in Vrindavan is charity, it is tapasya or whatever, but in the mood of ignorance. So we have to do it in the mood of goodness, of the pure goodness, because when the goodness is coming with the desire of pleasing the Lord, then it will become transcendental, right? So we have to change our heart, as the book says, to make understand that whatever we are doing have to be done with knowledge. So directly talking about World Vaishnava Association, Vishwa Vaishnava Rajsava, in some point I can happily say that
too early.
I can happily say that some of our Gaudiya temples, our Gaudiya Mat, have changed the use of the rough plastic for the prasadam distribution, and most of them are now using leaf plates, which is actually pretty nice. But still you see that sometimes they are using these carton plates that still have some plastic cover. And they think, oh, it is so small, so it is not a problem. But it is a problem if you eat it. So,
estrogen.
yes, automatically you cannot breathe anymore. So that's actually what our cows are having problem now. Or even if you can, it will get stuck here. So also problem. And the birds and everyone else, it doesn't matter if it's small. We should not accept that in any way, right? But what I find as a problem in our Gaudiya Mat that have not been yet understood is that our acharyas should also talk about this to their disciples. Because it is good that is, as institution we are not using anymore these plastics in their prasadam distribution. But if they don't talk about it, as soon as the disciples go out of the temple, whatever they will buy, whatever they will eat, whatever they will do, then will just be trashed outside. So, even we are not having conscience when we are going to buy even the paraphernalia that will be used for Krishna's worshipping. If we are carrying our own bag, we don't have to ask for plastic that later on will be and out of the street or in Jamuna, right? And it is just something very easy, very simple, right? And people say, oh no, juta, I cannot eat in this metallic plate because juta, somebody has eaten there. But they don't understand that actually it is washed. Also, it is a blessing from another Vaishnava. When I am thinking the remnant of someone who is chanting Hare Krishna, it is Juta, means I am not giving the value of the Vaishnava. And later on, I am polluting more using any other plastic or something like that. And India is such an Asian place that has a lot of natural remedies, natural, how to say, solutions that even people from all around the world want to have the Ayurvedic products, want to have the toothpaste that is only made in India. So we also have a lot of cleaning products that are very Sattvic. Why are we using so many chemicals? That is not necessary. So, in some point, what is actually the worst in this punctual fact is that we are claiming to be the root of the civilization, the root of the love, the root of compassion, of prema, of Krishna Seva, but people from all around the world can come and say, hey, you are killing your animals, you are disturbing with your noise, you are polluting your own river, and that is holy. And I have heard that so many times, because so many Westerners are coming and saying, hey, the river in my town is cleaner than this one. In this one, it is supposed to be sacred. How it is possible? So actually, it's embarrassing to say to people, now come to the holiest Jamuna, who is the source of everything. How beautiful is described in the book. And they say, oh, so bad smelling. And you say, please take bath in this holy one. No, I will get sick if I am coming in. It is completely nonsense. How can we preach like that? How we want to conquer the world? And when Mahaprabhu was here, and when Mahaprabhu wanted to take Vrindavan all around the world to every village by the holy name, Vrindavan didn't have this problem. So we cannot compare and say, no, everything is so holy, so clean always, that spiritually doesn't matter how it is material. This material, it is only external. You don't have to pay attention, that doesn't matter. No. Because that is not the context where Lord Chaitanya was here. That is not the context where the Goswamis were here. That even if we look at for example, when Jiva Goswami asked to Dukhi Krishnadas, go every day and clean that area where we are taking the water. Clean from what? It was not garbage. But they are cleaning. So, what will think Jiva Goswami nowadays if he is looking at this mess? I don't think he will say everything is transcendental, doesn't matter. No, he will take action for sure. If Krishna is the first anti-poison Jamuna, Krishna fight Kaliya and told him, you get out of here because you are polluting my Jamuna. But we are polluting. So we are even worse than Kaliya. And Krishna said, I want all the residents of Vrindavan live nicely and peaceful and happy in my land. But not only animals, but actually for the people and for everybody, it's tough to live here with all this garbage problem, contamination, even air problem. Now you see in Vrindavan, everybody is coughing, and this is not only because of the cold. Because if you go to some other places where it's even colder than here, people it is not coughing that much because the air is so polluted here. So it is our problem, and we cannot use the argument that everything is transcendental to neglect our responsibility on Brajadam. I don't think any of our Goswamis, 6 Goswamis, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu or Krishna himself will say, oh, it is transcendental, I will take bath in this contaminated water or something like that. Krishna loves so much Braj, and we cannot tell that we are loving Krishna if we are not loving Braj. It is nonsense. It doesn't make sense. By logic, you don't have to be very smart to get it. Right? So, I think today's topic is actually touching everyone's ego. is touching our thinking, oh, what I am doing, what is my responsibility in every small aspect. And so, I thanks too much for having this space and to have this project and this conversation that is very important and so many people want to reject to talk about. And I pray and request to everybody to please, at least you, by your own, take your responsibility and avoid so many contamination. And of course, a lot of projects must be done talking to the authorities, talking to the acharyas, talking to the people, and that's why we are bringing to Jamuna Kunja this Dharma Museum, where we want to teach the people how to get better at that point, and also talk to the government to help us, as Brahmaditi Maharaj was saying, put strong rules to protect and to punish who are not following nicely the procedure. And we should also tell to people when we are looking they are doing something wrong. Why should we be silent? You know, there is an Vaishnava apparat. If you are hearing some offense and you keep quiet, you are also part of the apparat. So it's the same thing. If we are looking someone is doing something wrong to the Dham and we keep quiet, we are also part of the Dham apparat. So, very, very important. And this is our gift card, presentation card of our religion.
This reunion will be continued in another day, as the topic is of top importance, and the change of heart will continue. Haribol.
Haribol.
Jai Prabhupada. Actually, this book is written by American Vaishnava mentality. So they've put